Welcome back, Sam Bloomsville Goods. I'm going to jump right into an article. Um, this is recent, maybe last week or two. Prize-winning environmental activist shot dead in Mexico. An indigenous activist who protested against illegal logging in Mexico's Sierra Madre Mountains has been killed, highlighting the dangers that Latin American environmentalists face. Isidro Baldenegro Lopez, 51, a leader of the Tarahumara people and fervent environmentalist, was shot dead Sunday at his uncle's home in the town of Colorados de las Virgen in the state of Chihuahua, according to Mexican state-run news agency Notimex. He was shot at least 6 times by a gunman who fled the scene along with the weapon, the Chihuahua prosecutor's office said. The police have launched an operation to capture the suspect. In 2005, Baldenegro Lopez won the Goldman Environmental Prize for his dedication in organizing peaceful protests against illegal logging. He was a fearless leader and a source of inspiration to so many people fighting to protect our environment and indigenous peoples' rights. Yes, this is happening. It's happening all over the world, but especially in South America, it's dangerous to be an environmental activist. They really just don't like you getting in the way of business, you know? How dare you say that we cannot clear-cut forests and destroy the environment for a fistful of dollars? In a tweet posted Wednesday, Erica Guevara Rosas, Amnesty International's director for the Americas, said that the activist's death generates a warning in Latin America. The assassination of Isidro Baldenegro Lopez is a tragic illustration of many dangers that people who dedicate their life to defending human rights in Latin America suffer, she said in a statement from Amnesty International. She called Latin America one of the most dangerous in the world for one of the most dangerous places in the world for activists, and demanded Mexico investigate the killing. I'm sure they will. The death marks the second time that a Goldman Environmental Prize winner has been assassinated in Latin America. In March, Berthe Caceres, a Honduran activist who received the prize in 2015, was found shot dead inside her home in La Esperanza, Honduras. As a member of the Lenca indigenous group and co-founder of the Council of Popular and Indigenous Organizations of Honduras, Macheras led a successful campaign against one of Central America's biggest hydropower projects. Before her death, Cacheras had been subject to multiple threats and harassment. The killing of one of Honduras's best-known activists drew swift condemnation from the government officials, and of course it did. Yeah, so this is, what happens when you stand up to the ever advancing maw of industrial civilization, is that you get eaten up. But this is the thing that, if we're going to throw our bodies and ourselves, into the line of fire, this is the real monster that the government is trying to protect. The monster that all these laws and all this backward ass thinking, all this subversion of regulations and the rule of law actually should be a thing that should help us as a society, as people. The rule of law should be there to protect people and ultimately the welfare of people. And the rule of law just doesn't fucking matter when it comes to making money. When it comes to corporations, the rule of law doesn't count. It doesn't, so what? We'll pay a fine, we'll keep on going. The rule of law only applies to you and I. If we hurt somebody, if we do something wrong, if we steal something, you know, if we break any kind of law, it's straight to jail for us. But not for those in power, not for corporations, not for. I'm telling you something you already know. And if you stand up and say this is wrong, this shouldn't be happening, and you run the risk of winding up at the end of a gun or worse. I'm going to read one more article. Grizzly bears in the North Cascades are all but disappeared. Grizzly bears once roamed the rugged landscape of the North Cascades in Washington, but few have been sighted in recent decades. Federal officials want to restore the population. Of course they do. And on Thursday released a draft plan with 4 options ranging from taking no action to varying efforts to capture bears from other sites and transplant them to the 9,800 square miles of mostly public land surrounding North Cascades National Park. 2 of the alternatives envision a goal of about 200 bears within 60 to 100 years, right? While a third expedited option expects to restore 200 animals in 25 years. There are so currently there are less than 20 grizzly bears in North Cascades. So they're all but gone. An estimated 50,000 grizzlies once roamed much of North America. Most were killed off by hunters in the 19th and early 20th centuries, and they now occupy about 2% of their original range across lower 48 states. That's not going to get any better, especially with Trump selling off public lands, especially with our insatiable appetite for oil and resources, and unless we have some kind of major alteration of our mind state, of our paradigm, where the grizzlies are going to go away. The most recent confirmed sighting of a bear was in 1996. That's 20 years ago. That's 20 years ago. How do they know how many bears are there? The North Cascades ecosystem offers some of the best habitat to recover the animals, and a federal 1997 plan designated the area as one of 5 grizzly bear recovery zones. The other are in Montana, Wyoming, and Idaho. So, yeah, this is a bad sign. Grizzly bears are dying. Polar bears are dying. Fish are dying. I was listening to someone else talking about was it mammals? 60 to 70% of mammals are going to be gone within 20 to 30 years, and that includes us. Oh no, it was invertebrates. Yes, that includes us. So, not looking good. I'm going to link these articles in the description box so you can peruse them. One last thing I'm going to talk about, not related, but somehow related. I'm going to talk about this a little more probably tomorrow. The Dow has hit 20,000 this week, and according to Cliff High and the Webbot, when the Dow hits 20,000 is when we can expect soon after a major economic collapse. You know, who knows how soon? The predictors, the signposts of an economic collapse have been in place for years, and I think the economy is basically being held together by baling wire and gum right now. So an economic collapse of the magnitude that they're talking about is, absolutely an extinction event, meaning that a lot of people are going to not survive a major economic collapse. Like if the grid goes down, or if there's no food at the stores, or if people can't, if we have hyperinflation, or, things that are going on in like Venezuela right now, and other places to some extent, like in India, and people are, the economies are collapsing, and people are having a hard time just getting like the basics. So if that happens here, expect people to absolutely lose their minds because we can't deal with any adversity at all. It's just not, we just don't have it in us anymore. We can't even, stand a little 10-degree change in the weather without, freaking out and tweeting, "Oh my God, it's so cold. Oh, I'm so hot." So, yeah, that's just just a signal, something to look for. Look for. Just keep your eyes open. In the next possible month or two, we could start seeing some cracks in the economic facade, and get yourself ready if you can, or at least have a little bit of food storage. Like just in case things go crazy. And you can't get any money, or you can't use your ATM, or you can't get any food at the store, or you can't buy any gas, whatever it might be, whatever the situation might be. At least buy a bag of rice, have a couple gallons of water on hand, have, possibly something to cook with, have some dry, food storage, have some granola bars, whatever, trail mix, just have a little stockpile. That is my advice for the day, and thanks again for tuning in. Enjoy your evening. See you next time.